Last video for the night, and probably until Saturday or Sunday, get it on finished here. I'm gonna try to add some music to this. I know my visuals are very boring right now. Okay, so I'm moving on because they have to be fairly short here. In the series of ridiculousness and my last 6-7 horrid months with the actions of a 65-year-old woman, a few years older than me, SHEILA Howard or Andrson. She's got about 30 aliases. I don't know what those are for. Hidden emails, all of that. Deception. But these are things that she always spoke against. I never do. But they're right there in plain view. Okay. This is not a me versus you thing. This is a principle thing, and this is exposing the sickness and the twisted realities of some people that think. For instance, this Ramisi person, the story I'm going to tell today, she always spoke of being decent, good character, and turned her nose down at vulgarity, but she didn't think this was vulgar. It's one of the most vulgar things I've ever seen. Okay, what we're talking about today is the most horrible act I've ever seen from any woman I've been around. And I've been around some, because I'm a musician, and when I was younger, I was wild, and we, a lot of wild chicks, but none of them were such hypocrites and contradicted their own words. See, when you contradict your own words, that's the worst thing. But the act she did, that's why I call this tonight's segment, is your woman a whore? Well, then why the hell is she coming on to me, and right in front of you too? I could take that freak and go blah blah, and that's what guys think. She didn't know that. She gets in a car with me, and then I let her sit in the front, which is a big mistake. I never thought this would happen. So the guy's driving, I'm in the back. I just wanted to give her the front seat. Never thought. She gets in and immediately starts yapping, unprovoked, and just pretty much throws herself on this guy. Now, this guy, here's a woman that says she's decent and all of this and has good character, haha. She's almost 50 then, about 50-ish. She doesn't have better sense to know that a man's going to think you're a damn slut and want to, he could do anything. He could, finally, she persisted so long and asked him to take her out. Would you take it after day? Then she threw me in, but she ignored me the whole time. Now, suppose he'd have said, bitch, I'm going to take you and blah, blah, F you, and what can I say? She made that. I wasn't going to defend her. I'd defend my woman to the death. But that, no. That's a terrible, lowly, disgusting feel. And she never realized it, or she faked like she didn't. Can you imagine a woman doing that to herself, first of all? And then acting as if flippant about it and dismissive, like, so no big deal. This is why I never trusted her down the road. This is the thing guys have nightmares of, because she never came back to me and owned up to it and said, boy, I tell you what I'll do. Or it was like, don't mention it. And this has been the whole scenario with her over the years. When she disappeared on me for 2.5 years in prison, I think recently I found out she was in Texas or Florida somewhere, holed up with some guy. She can't hold it closed. She didn't have to say she was, but since she says she was, so she gets in the car. She just asks this guy, she just, first of all, I don't like a woman that gets in a car with another guy and just yaps her mouth anyway. Hey, be polite, and yes, how are you? Maybe get a laugh if you need it. I don't need another opposite sex. She totally ignored me like I wasn't there. It's like this person is mental, very sick, but it's always twisted back to me. That's why I decided to do these videos. Yeah, I put some stuff out on the internet, and I've said some vulgar things. She's just as vulgar. She doesn't see that as vulgar. He does. She doesn't pay attention to what the guy would think. That's idiotic. So that makes me think that throughout the years she's done that. And if she's done that, there's been some guys that slammed her butt on some bed or some couch or some kitchen floor or some bathroom floor or some toilet and went to town on her and maybe bought his friends. I'm telling you, she's done it before, but she was too comfortable with it and looked at me like I was crazy for just coming up to her and saying, what kind of person does that? These are the twisted minds of these sisters. The Section 8 backs them up so they can turn the house into little brothers, one guy after another. That's why this time I left. I seen this weird stuff coming, like when she called me her ex-husband's name. Now, I knew there was always ridiculous reasons or answers from her why she kept that last name, Howard. Why would you keep that 25 years after a divorce? Now I found out that's so she can leave the trails away from Andrson. SHEILA Anderson's got all kinds of mirrors and this and that and Howard this and Reeves Howards and phone numbers that I found. With some of them, she tries to deny stuff. I never deny. I never lie. What kind of people are these? What kind of lowly, filthy animals that will live in a lie and cover things and sleep with guys when they have them? What have we turned into? At 60 something years, that's the reason I gave all the breaks. I thought she turned decent or was decent, but you can't count on anything. We've got a race or a subculture of super whores that don't know they are because the rest of they're like, and there's so many of them, and they're backed up. And the men are wimped out because they want to, respect. You can't respect anything like that. Why? Why should you? You respect a cockroach calling in your Captain Crunch in the morning? I mean, it's incredibly ridiculous. And it's insulting to me that a person would do that in my face. And I decided when I forced her to validate things and said, no, we'll take your little lying hypocrite ass on somewhere else, she tried to turn everything against me. But the truth is always revealed, and it will come out one way or the other, whether it's me or another person. Now, obviously, anyone not fazed and dismissive of something like that and defiant of something so lewd and disgusting. She never saw it as disgusting. What kind of person doesn't? You mean you ignore your man in the backseat, jump on a dirty... And the guy was a crackhead, by the way, for someone who brags on being sober. This is a really low act, and these things, continue. And then there was a brief break, but now I see that when I was gone, who disappears for 2.5 years when you're incarcerated and then says, I was devoted to you? How can you not see it? There's mental cases, and she is one of the top... Well, let me tell you, I've been with some lowly women, but most of them were honest, and I never had an argument or probably a bad word with them. We never did. But her, because she's psychotic and never can face up, she's doomed, and I'm sure she's been dogged out a lot of times because that guy could have done anything with her. Now, I wasn't going to defend her. I'd have jumped out the car. That's the way she acted. I wasn't there anyway. That's nutty. It's sick. And she's always judging people. Oh, that's dirty. That's filthy. She's filthy. She's laying up right now with some, all summer she vanished this year. So, I just wanted to put all of this out. These are the kind of women that we expect higher up. And what do we get? The same thing that you'll get from the hooker walking the street. I'm telling you, no different. She's no different, but she can't see it, or she argues against it because she knows she's going to do it again. She doesn't want to hear it. So what they do is they run from you when you put the truth on them, the facts, the reality that they're dishonest, self-degrading, dishonorable women, not worthy of honor. Yes, I left. Finally. I left before. She came back. I'm going to do this. Next thing I know, I got to wait on her grown children, in which I believe now her first 3-day phone off the hook at midnight was her first, about a month or so after I left, her first, I got to get some up in me because it's been a while, bloom. Talking about, I can wait, only see myself with you. I bet you right now, you take a picture, she's laying up with something, inside of her, in somebody's bed or hers. Because she vanished too much. Only an idiot would expect someone to respect her after all that vanishing. You should have just kept yourself vanished permanently. Tommy Sotomayor, help me! I agree with him on some of those ratchet hood rats. And the rappers who say dog them all, treat them like, I don't want to do that, I probably won't, but I won't treat them like I tried to treat a woman that was 50 that I thought, okay, now we're mature, we're going to be cool. So, I see, there's so much H-O-E in them. Oh my God. Terrible. And to be defiant about it like her, that shows a very psychotic, pathological, bizarre, lewd filth that it's just horrible to think about. I cringe when I think about laying up next to her for years and not knowing that right there was a person that could go anywhere out of town. If she could do that to herself, just think what a guy could do to her. Come up and do some straight BS. I've seen her in action. Next segment, Ramisi in Mozart's bar Endeavor hits on a drug addict white singer. And I'm standing there and she doesn't even realize I'm watching her from the end of the bar. From the door, ready to go. I'm talking about this goes on. I'm standing there and me and another guy. Finally, I said, what the hell? He wouldn't let her go. What kind of coward? Ramisi? Take that Ramisi off her name. SHEILA Sunday Howard. Call her Amy, Becky, Brittany. That's no Ramisi. a coward who a stranger that's on drugs and she's sober and doesn't know how to recognize. Oh my God. Somebody help these people. What are her children doing? Are they that blind and deaf and dumb that they can't say, hey, wait, we need to help her? Maybe she covers it well. I saw through it from the beginning. You got to let a HOE be a HOE. Thanks, ghetto boys.